What is up, F and true followers, wrestling fans, and members of the YWC? JC Styles,
And Brian Crazy.
and we are the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com.
WrestleMania 28 will take place April 1st, 2012 from Miami, Florida, and it promises to be one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. There's 4 huge star-studded main events and also several other great matches to round out this already phenomenal card. Let's jump right into it. For the first match, the Divas match, Kelly and Maria Menounos from Extra will team together to go against the Glamazon Beth Phoenix and Eve.
I'm not really feeling this match at all. I really don't have a prediction because I was really hoping to see Beth Phoenix go against Karma, or maybe a return Trish Stratus, or maybe even possibly a Lita. I've heard a lot of rumors going around that Lita's actually been working out, in the ring, also just keeping in shape, keeping the ring rust off. So it would have been pretty interesting to see them. Also, they're both going to be at the festivities for the fan access, and also they're probably going to be on hand for the Hall of Fame induction this year.
Yes, there is big talk that not only Lita, Amy Dumas will be on hand for the Hall of Fame, but also Medusa. And furthering on what you said, it would have been huge if somehow Medusa or Trish or Karma or maybe Tamina Snuka, or maybe there was a rift between her and Natalya, and we saw a Divas title match at WrestleMania. I kind of like that Maria Menounos is involved. She is very athletic, and she is training to be a wrestler. So she's not just coming in trying to do a cartwheel and calling it a match. She actually strives to learn some of the athleticism involved in a contest such as this. So I give her credit at that. Predictions, I really don't have one. Either the heels are going to do something and pick up the win, or the faces are going to get over. I really just don't have a prediction for this match. Next match, we will see Team Long go against Team Johnny Laurinaitis.
And we'll see, for Team Long, we'll see Santino, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, Ezekiel Jackson. We'll see the Great Khali and a returning Evan Bourne, whose suspension was up as of this past Saturday.
Yes, his suspension was up, and I'm excited. Hopefully he'll start teaming with Kofi once again, and they'll start to revitalize the tag team division once again. I'm really excited about some of the upcoming tag teams in the WWE. Epico and Primo being one of them, the Usos. I mean, there's so many phenomenal teams. Right now, currently confirmed as of WWE TV, what do we have? Santino's team captain, Kofi Kingston, and R-Truth are confirmed so far.
They're confirmed, yes.
Are confirmed so far. And then for Team Laurinaitis, currently confirmed are David Otunga, Mark Henry, and Christian. David Otunga will be the team captain. And currently speculated to round out the 6 members of that team will be Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, and Alberto Del Rio.
Exactly. There's a lot of things going into this match, a lot of feuds, a lot of different reasons why a lot of wrestlers want their certain captains to win. There's certain leaders to win, being Teddy Long and John Laurinaitis. A lot of people are speculating that if Laurinaitis wins, we'll possibly maybe see end of a brand extension, or if Teddy Long wins, we'll probably see, like we always see on SmackDown, him giving the people the chances that deserve them.
Yes. Teddy Long's all about earning your spot. Respect is earned, not given. Teddy Long is all about kind of sticking it to the heels and helping the faces out. Kind of a stark contrast compared to the manager character he played, because when he was, thugging and bugging in Enterprises and with Rodney Mack and Mark Henry, it was a lot different of a character.
Exactly.
There's a lot of tension these days between Teddy Long and Mark Henry, as everybody knows. What's your prediction for this match? Who do you want to see win?
I wouldn't mind seeing, John Laurinaitis win for some reasons. One of them because I would like to see the brand extension come to an end, but I would like Teddy Long to win, Team Long to win, just because if they were to kill the brand extension, that means they would have to liquefy some of the titles and unify them. And I kind of like the fact is that there's 2 titles. There's the 2 main titles, 2 mid-card titles, title for the Divas, and you got the Tag Team Championship. So you have almost the whole entire mid-card, both on Raw and SmackDown, that can go for the mid-card. Then you have a whole bunch of people that can go for
it's almost
titles.
2 de facto wrestling companies. That's how they set it up, because there was no competition after WCW was purchased. So they decided to divide WWE. That was the whole point of the brand extension. Divide WWE and create competition between the brands.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, didn't ever work out quite the way they wanted it to. Maybe not, but I like what they've been doing with it lately. I like that we get to see superstars on either show, and I think that's the way to go. Regardless of who ends up in charge, I think we should, like JC said, keep two distinct brands, keep two sets of distinct titles. It gives a lot more superstars opportunities. But I'd like to see what happens. I like John Laurinaitis. I've liked Johnny Ace for a long time. I like the character. I'm not going to lie. I like the feuds currently going on between members of the locker room, him and CM Punk. The tension even between him and Triple H is interesting. And I think last year they kind of dropped the ball when Kevin Nash came out and admitted that he's the one that sent the text message. I think it should have been Johnny Ace. Johnny Ace was going to take Triple H's job anyway, so why not have it as like a power struggle? Like Johnny Ace basically screwed Triple H.
Speaking of Triple H, while we're on that topic, there was a house show last night in Madison Square Garden. It was CM Punk, Triple H, and I believe it was Sheamus, and they took on Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, and I forgot who the third guy was. But we actually seen Triple H hit the pedigree, and then to close out the match, he was going to do the pedigree, but then he wound up hitting the tombstone, and the whole entire crowd erupted. So I'll find the video for you guys here on YouTube, and I'll put the link down in the description box or in an annotation somewhere around here, so you guys could see that video. It was a fan-made video of someone who was in attendance last night. But in the long run, I would definitely want to see Team Long win, just because I don't want to see them unify any of the titles, because I think it's giving everyone a fair chance.
Well, I don't think anything's promised right now. I mean, even with Teddy Long in charge, there could be a chance of unification. But your pick's Team Long, my pick's Team Laurinaitis. Then we go into Kane versus Randy Orton. This is a recent feud. It's only been brewing for a few weeks now since Randy Orton made his return to SmackDown. I think this match has high hopes, though. Kane always performs well at WrestleMania. Randy Orton always performs well at WrestleMania. I expect to see a little more out of this match than we saw out of John Cena and Kane at Elimination Chamber. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts, don't get me wrong, it'll definitely be a very gruesome match. They'll both try to one-up each other. And Orton will probably go to that level where he's just going to try anything and everything to put Kane down. And Kane is the exact same way on Orton. But I think in a way, Randy Orton kind of has a WrestleMania curse, because since WrestleMania 24, he hasn't really been in the quote-unquote main event picture at WrestleMania. He's always been either the middle of the card or the early in the card. I mean, WrestleMania 25, he faced Legacy in Rhodes and DiBiase. 26, I believe he faced Triple H. Last year he fought CM Punk. Now he's facing Kane. So that's 4 years that he's not in the actual going in contention for a
all
championship.
Against top caliber talent.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
yeah, true. He's not in contention for a major title at WrestleMania. And you know what the great thing about Randy Orton and John Cena is? Recently, they've kind of taken a step back a little bit. They're helping that new generation of stars, and I like to see that. And Orton has helped put over a lot of people in the last few months. He helped legitimize not only Cody Rhodes, but a few others along the way.
Yeah.
And my prediction for this match, it could go either way. This is a real toss-up. I hate to not be able to give you guys the second not clear-cut answer of the video, but it could go either way for me.
Orton all the way. I want to kind of see what level Orton's gonna sink to, or what dark, mysterious level or corner or mysterious force he's gonna go to try to keep Kane down. Because we're probably gonna see a punt. We're probably going to see chair shots. We're probably going to see steel steps brought involved. So, I mean, it can go either way, but in the long run, I want to see Orton, just because since they brought Kane back, Kane's been on fire, but he hasn't really, drove the point home. I mean, being barbaric.
Yeah, that's exactly the point that I was making before. I mean, the promos were epic upon Kane's return. All the series between him and John Cena was great. Then we get to the match, the culmination, the final
ambulance match.
The ambulance match. What's supposed to be the end of this giant feud. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it wasn't that horrible, but it could have been better.
Yes.
And it was a good match. But of course, 2 months before WrestleMania, how much risk do you want to put John Cena in?
Well, I'm not saying risk-wise. I think that storyline-wise, I think everyone would have liked to have seen Cena embrace the whole hate thing and have him, go into WrestleMania as having legitimate heat as the bad guy. And right now, he's still going in as a in-betweener, which is a heel, because we know that he can go to that level if that's that heelish streak if he wanted to, but he's not fully embracing it while staying loyal to the young guy, the young kids that watch him and that look up to him and everything like that.
Very true. Very true. I agree with that 100%. Let's go into the next match. We are going to see Daniel Bryan defend the world's heavyweight title against the #1 contender, the winner of the Royal Rumble, the Celtic Warrior, the Great White Sheamus.
Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy watching Daniel Bryan wrestle. Regardless of what people will say, he's an internet wrestler. Didn't have what it takes to be world champion. Vince putting the title on him is making a lot of the internet fans happy, or the ROH fans. Daniel Bryan has the legitimate wrestling ability, but the thing is, though, with WWE currently making him the whole quote unquote weasel of trying to get out of every way match, winning in a weaselish way, I know weaselish isn't really a word, but I'm gonna make it a word. Just like total awesomeness, it's not really a word. But anyway,
it just fits the description that you're trying to provide.
But I also like Sheamus. I like what WWE's doing with the Sheamus character. I like how he went from being the bully, and he's even called himself that in numerous promos, that he didn't like what he was to become champion in the first time. Now he wants to become a champion as the good guy who sticks up for the people that are being bullied. And I can kind of understand that. And he kind of sees Daniel Bryan kind of bullying AJ around. But the thing is, I know Sheamus won the Royal Rumble, and 90% of the time when the Royal Rumble winner goes into WrestleMania, he wins. There was a couple of times where we've seen the Royal Rumble winner go in and not win.
Last year being one of them.
Last year, Edge, when he came back from his I think it was his Achilles heel rupture, he came back and he won the Royal Rumble and lost at WrestleMania. So I mean, there was just a lot of things, but not to take away anything from Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. I'm sure it'll be a really good match. I mean, we went and we saw them when they wrestled at the Civic Center. And it was the XL Center.
An incredible contest. And this was a whole year before we even got to this point. And it was an incredible match then.
For the United States Championship when Sheamus was the U.S. champ.
Yes.
And he was the heel going in. And if you guys, I'm just letting you know now, if you haven't seen Sheamus in person, he is just that much wider live.
Oh, especially when those spotlights hit him, guys. I mean, it's almost cruel. Like, you'd think the guy would get a little bit of a tan under the spotlights, but I do have to agree with JC Styles. Sheamus is an incredible athlete. He definitely has what it takes. He's proven it before. And I really like what they did with the character, just to further on what he said. He said, growing up, I was bullied. Then I became a bully, and I became exactly what I hated when I was a kid, and that's why he decided to change this whole thing around. When it comes to Daniel Bryan, he's a unique kind of heel. Never have we seen a heel with this kind of persona. I mean, usually a heel rubs on you the wrong way. That's what makes him a bad guy. But he just...
Do you think...
He just rubs you the wrong way. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts here.
Do you think when he won Money in the Bank and WWE knew he was a vegan, so they decided to have a straight edge champion and a vegan champion? It would be the first time for everything. Straight edge, vegan, straight edge.
I mean, all right, so you go to a party that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are holding. First of all, we're going to have no meat. We're going to have no dairy.
We're going to have no meat, no dairy. We're going to have no alcohol whatsoever. What are we going to have? Bean dip?
We're going to have, no alcohol. There'll be no drugs of any form because he's completely straight edge. Not that we're looking for any anyway. But you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, it would just be one blasé time.
But in the long run, this match can go either way for me, but I would more lean to the side of... Here's the thing. I want to see if Daniel Bryan's going to win if they're going to keep the title on Daniel Bryan. Let him pick it up in Daniel Bryan fashion and let him win without weaseling a way out. Plain and simple.
Let it be a great wrestling match. Let's not see any easy way out of here. It's WrestleMania. We want a clean-cut finish.
With all the matches.
Either Sheamus is going to become the world's heavyweight champion or Daniel Bryan is going to somehow out-wrestle. The American Dragon is going to reach deep down inside of him, put that BS to the side, put on a wrestling clinic like we've seen him do so many times, and retain his title. Let's go into the next match. It will be for the WWE Championship. The defending WWE Champion CM Punk will go one-on-one against Chris Jericho, who is the #1 contender after winning a Battle Royal on Monday Night Raw a few weeks back. We saw this brewing for a long time now. I mean, CM Punk,
since the beginning of the year.
even before that, CM Punk has been walking around calling himself the best in the world for a long time.
Well, see, the thing is, and I mentioned this in our epic WrestleMania discussion, and I know I'm not alone in the world or in the YWC when I say this, but okay, a couple weeks ago when they were having the whole best in the world, no, I'm the best in the world, we're all best in the world, little people, or whatever you want to call them. It reminded me of that little thing, It's a Small World After All, the ride at Disney. And it was just like, there was no build-up for the match at that time. I mean, there was a lot of build-up with just them. It's like saying, oh, Brian's the best in the world. Oh, no, I'm the best in the world. Or, until you can get in the ring and you can prove it against the guy who, and then on top of that, you have Chris Jericho saying, I'm the best in the world at everything that I do. But then CM Punk, quote-unquote, goes around and says, well, I'm the best wrestler in the world, and let's go out and do what we're going to do and put on the best wrestling match in the world. And when I get to that part, and this is my beef with the whole thing, is I understand Chris Jericho's all his accolades, everything that he's done. But I know that they wanted to get Chris Jericho to come back because he's got and get him for WrestleMania because he's going to be going on tour for the summer with Fozzy. And, it's not, in my mind, I'm definitely hyped up for the match. I'm definitely hyped for the in-ring ability. But we all know that Punk's probably going to wind up coming out on top just because what's the point of putting the title on Jericho if he's going to be leaving in the summer to go tour with Fozzy?
You could heat up the feud real nice. And
yeah,
just to further on what you said, I think there is a lot of basis in this match. And I think there is a lot of depth. I mean, we've got Chris Jericho, the man who defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the same night to become the first WWF Undisputed Champion. He held, regardless, one of the youngest WWF champions of all time. And the man's just over 40 years old, barely 40 years old. So there's a lot of wrestlers that are old, wrestling at an older age and still bringing.
I think Orton is the youngest WWE champion and world champion.
Yeah, Orton. Because it was The Rock, and then I think Orton surpassed him in that record, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, there is a lot of depth in this match. Chris Jericho legitimately is the best in the world at what he does. That was his original catchphrase, regardless to what he might have tailored it to in the last few weeks. CM Punk says he's the best wrestler in the world. So let them get into the ring and let's find out who the best in the world is. I have a feeling that it might not end here. There's a lot of talk that Chris Jericho might have one more match at the next pay-per-view. So we could see a title change and the title change hands back, or we could just see the feud continue for one more month.
CM Punk hold on to the title.
Or who knows, the feud could be squashed now. We could see Jericho win one more match against another opponent, and there we go. Yeah. I mean, it could end up a lot of different ways. I like CM Punk. I'm not going to lie. I would like to see him retain, but in the same right, I'm a huge Jericho fan, and I'd like to see Jericho win. So it could go either way for me. And for the final match of the night, Triple H versus Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell.
Well, it's not the final match of the night. We still got Rock Cena.
Oh, excuse me.
We're not going to dwell on this match, because we beat the topic to death last year. We beat the topic to death in our epic discussion. So if you really want our in-depth thoughts on the Triple H Undertaker match, check out our epic discussions. Epic discussion just from last week with Most Extreme Wrestling. And I'm just going to go on. I want to see Triple H win.
I want to see The Undertaker win. I don't want to see the streak end. That is just this fan's opinion. And then I was mistaken, excuse me, for the final match of the night. We will see two icons in wrestling collide head-to-head. The Rock, who, with the exception of Survivor Series, we have not seen him wrestle in 7 years, go one-on-one against John Cena. This is a huge match. There's been a lot of talk that Brock's been winning the War of the Words, but no, John Cena's been winning the War of the Words, and depends on which promo. I mean, if you analyze week by week, some weeks John Cena has the upper edge, some weeks The Rock has the upper edge. I'm not the hugest John Cena fan. I don't hate the guy either. I have kind of an opinion in the middle. I respect him for his athleticism. I respect him for what he does outside the ring. I think that's a great thing about WWE. We get to choose what characters we like. Regardless if we like the character, we should respect them as an athlete because they go out there and they bust their asses for us. They could end up paralyzed at the end of the day, Jesse Sorensen being a perfect example. Best out to Jesse Sorensen. Let's not dwell on this too much. I'm just going to give you my prediction and let you run with it. To be honest, it's tough. There's a lot of talk there's going to be a 3 series of matches. Possibly we're going to see a match at SummerSlam and also at WrestleMania 29. But there's also a lot of talk that The Rock will begin a new feud, the Monday Night Raw, after WrestleMania 28 on April 2nd, 2012. So this could go either way. The Rock defeating Cena, I think, would be awesome if we saw a rematch down the road. Eventually the torch is sort of passed, even though John Cena doesn't quote-unquote need the torch at this point. I just think it would be cool if he kind of passed the torch to the next generation.
Yes.
But in the same right, John Cena's been busting his ass 200 days a year, and to kind of have The Rock come back after 7 years and squash him would kind of be a shame. So it's a toss-up for this fan. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's it's the same thing, with the Rock Hogan match. Everyone was like, "Oh, the Hogan's going to go and he's going to demolish the Rock," and then we wound up seeing the Rock pick up the win. It's almost the same fitting. The Rock hasn't been around for so long, and then it was coming back to to get in the ring with John Cena. And there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, "Oh, the Rock is going to lose to Cena." But the thing is, though, as much as big success, I don't want to say a big success, but The Rock has always been WWE's biggest successor. I mean, outside of wrestling, he became big. Inside of wrestling, he became a star. In the movies, he became a star. So it's like, why would you bring him back just to have him lose immediately right away to John Cena? But then there's also the thing is, why would you bring in The Rock to automatically have him beat Cena? There's just a lot of variables that go into that, and it's WrestleMania, and I'm sure Vince has something up his sleeve, or he's already got something in the works. Right, I'm pretty sure he's probably got people working at the desk right now saying, "All right, well, this is what we're going to do with The Rock after WrestleMania while we still have him. This is what's going to happen for WrestleMania next year. Boom." And then we go into WrestleMania.
Of course, we all know Vince McMahon plans can change to the very last second, and that's what makes the WWE so exciting, that sometimes there is that level of unpredictability. And that's what, as wrestling fans, we love to see. As wrestling journalists, yes, we look into the news. We look into every piece, every aspect that makes up the wrestling business. And unfortunately, sometimes we spoil it for ourselves. We don't get to see the big moment that some of you may enjoy. That's why we try to label the videos as such, so we don't ruin anything for anybody.
Exactly.
But to be effective journalists, we do try to find out as much information as we possibly can, so we can bring you guys not just the televised picture, but the picture from behind the scenes. And I think we did that very well in this video.
But before we wrap it up, my predictions is, like always, I really can't stand the in-ring character of Cena, so I want to have Rock squash him.
Fair enough.
Business-wise, it'd be a smart idea to have The Rock beat Cena, because then they could start marketing for the rematch at whatever pay-per-view they decide to, and then you could set up the third rematch, and have Rock while they still have him, while he could still go, and then also utilize Cena while the feud is still going on and still fresh in everyone's head. Just like what they did with Stone Cold and The Rock. Everyone wanted to see Stone Cold and Rock, and Vince bought it back 3 times. And so, with that being said, guys...
I mean, one important thing that we almost forgot. There's a lot of speculation on the internet right now that The Miz will somehow be involved in this match. We don't know what's going to happen. Unfortunately, we don't know at this point.
To be honest, nothing else is said except for that they want to have The Miz have some kind of role in the match. I know there's a lot of people that are going to probably, comment on this video. "Oh, well, why are they going to have The Miz involved? It's blah, blah, blah." We don't know what's going to happen. The Miz might try to get involved, and he might get spanked by Cena. Then he might try to get involved again and get spanked by The Rock.
He might eat a rock bottom. I mean, it's just it's something that we heard on the net, and we thought that we would share it with you guys because it is a definite possibility. Guys, thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to check out all the channels that make up the Effin brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. The channel that you're currently viewing this video on, Effin True Wrestling, Fight Nation Wrestling, my new channel for exclusive wrestling content, Effin True Entertainment, where me and JC Styles, my broadcast colleague, will bring you news, reviews.
And our partners over at Most Extreme Wrestling.
And our partners at Most Extreme Wrestling, Crystal and Chronics. They provide fantastic content on that channel and their channel.
Click the annotation above my head that says, "Click here to subscribe to Crystal and Chronics, the Most Extreme Wrestling."
Yes, check out their content. They are great. The only married duo here on YouTube. Also check out the Effin True Click, where me, JC, and members of the Click will be bringing you wrestling roundtable discussions in the near future. Please also check out the official website of the Effin brand at www.fightnationwrestling.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com, Effin True Wrestling. Don't worry, guys. We will put this in the description box below. I know that's a lot of information in about a 20-second time period. Do you have any additional thoughts, plugs, anything you would like to add before we close this out, sir?
Yeah, be sure to tune in tonight for our Raw review. Have a good night.
Catch you guys later. What will happen when The Rock has a surprise for John Cena? Catch you later.